Good morning, John here for a very beautiful sunny Saturday morning. Today we're going to have a look at these. These are the Camel Oil Pastels. These are their professional oil pastels, so we're going to see what they're like. So today we're going to check out the Camel Oil Pastels. They do say, before we get started, you learn something every single day of your life. I learnt this morning, and I may look odd because of it, to check the depth of the trimmer on my razor. I didn't check it, went to trim my moustache and took the whole thing off. Can you believe it? Anyway, that's what I've learnt today. Check your trimmer. Anyway, let's get on with the review. So what I have here are the Camel Oil Pastels. There's a set of 50, and on the front here it says who the artwork is by, and it says Camelin Kokuyo. I have no idea what that means. Anyway, it says Artist Oil Pastels, and these are perceived to be their more professional range. They comply to European standard. Not really sure what that means either. And it says they're brighter and smoother with 50 shades. Before anybody goes to correct me, this is the old style packaging of Camel Oil Pastels. I have checked the colour range, well, quarter of the colour range, and it appears that every single colour is identical. There is one that has a slight change of name, and I believe that's the light peach. So they are exactly the same, it's just that this is in the old style packaging. So on the back we have a few examples of how to paint with oil pastels. I'm not sure I agree with all of that in my personal experience. Personally, I wouldn't use watercolours with oil pastels wherever I could help it, because to me then it becomes a mixed media, and you know, you might as well just carry on with watercolour, mightn't you? We have contrast it and paint over it. Add a wash of linseed oil. I wouldn't suggest using linseed oil. It's a very good idea personally, because it does get you into a bit of a mess. You can use the oil pastel and paint it, it says, for smooth blending. Yeah, I can see how that would work, but I'm sure there are better alternatives to linseed oil in my opinion. And it says use a camel fixative spray after you are finished to retain the colours of the painting. On the back you have the shade swatches, as they call them, and it says they are just indicative of the colours. And on the back you have where they've come from, Mumbai, India, sorted shades, and who to get in touch with if you ever needed to. So let's have a look at the package inside. Again, inside the colours are all the same, but the sleeves that they're wrapped in are different. So they have a new packaging on the outside, and they also have new packaging on the inside. Is there anything on the pastels to tell me anything? There's a number name, and pretty much that's it. There's no mention of light fastness anywhere in these. Just in my experience, I'd say you're not going to have much of a problem. Some colours are going to be better than others, obviously, but I believe this is how they keep oil pastels prices down. These are a reasonable cost for what they are, and they seem to appear to be quite short and stumpy pastels. So I'm going to get a Montmartre, which is the standard size, and I'm going to compare them. So as you can see, they're a lot shorter, and they are actually thicker, a lot thicker. So you're probably getting about the same amount of oil pastel for your buck there. I have to say that for some obscure reason, I kind of quite like this. I haven't used them in Vengeance on a painting yet, but that's not far off, I don't think. I've got so many things to do, it's just getting round to this. It's quite a problem sometimes. And not only that, I have health issues as well. But anyway, let's have a look at what these blend like, shall we? Before I get on to the blending part of the review, could I please ask everybody who's watching to please subscribe? It does help the channel immensely. There are probably 60 to 70% of people who are watching but not actually subscribing, so I'm hoping that's because I'm saying something interesting. But if you don't want to miss out on any future videos, please subscribe. And those that have subscribed, and of course those that haven't, please like and share, and you know, please comment as well. All these things, they all help what they call the algorithm, I don't fully understand that, to push my videos out to more people. Also, please be aware that there are channel memberships. I've recently added a new level, and if you want, especially with your oil pastel paintings, I can help you quite a lot with that. And on level 2, which I think is called Super Amazing Artist, I will actually help you with your work. So I'll do a critique. I hate that word, but I will critique them, but in my words, help you to make it better, if of course it's needed. If not, please become a member of the Amazing Artist level. And you know, it's just a way of saying thanks to the channel for hopefully giving you some worthwhile information. Don't forget, there are things like super thanks and things like that, where you can actually just make a comment and maybe just contribute a thank you by way of, I don't know, 99p or whatever it is. They have different levels. I don't understand it. I just know these things are there to be used, and they are your way of thanking my channel, and my channel is obviously helping you, I hope, and also I will give you extras if you become a member. Anyway, enough of all that, let's just get on with the video, but please do subscribe. So let's get back to this video then, and I have to say I actually quite like the size of these pastels. They're shorter and stumpier. They kind of, in an oil pastel way, remind me of the size of the Unison soft pastels. But let's have a look and see how they blend. Let's again go for the purples like we always do. It has a firm texture. Now, I'm going to have to take into account that these oil pastels have been around a long time, because they are the old stock of the old version. Now I've just laid that on there, and it seems quite a transparent colour, if I'm being honest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose completely different colour again. I'm going to go for the blue. They're definitely firm. They're nowhere near as soft as I thought they were going to be. They don't feel like they're layering up very well, and they do seem kind of patchy. They're unfortunately giving me the impression of the campus oil pastels, which we all know are absolutely appalling. So let's just go for a completely different colour. Let's go for this green. I'm just putting different colours on just to see if there's any difference in the texture, and so far there hasn't been. That one's layered up over the top of that colour better. This one is, I would say, slightly softer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to randomly pick a different colour from anywhere. I'm going to go for a red, just to see if that's different. Yeah, that one seems softer. It could be that there's a, mind you, that's cutting into the pastel underneath, so it's not layering. They're not layering that great. That green layered okay, but of course that's just one pastel out of 4, isn't it? So the indication is that most of them are not going to layer that great. I'm going to blend it out. It's not really doing much, if I'm being honest. If anything, it's slightly pilling. One thing I've done here is I've laid a light colour over a darker colour, which is something I wouldn't normally do. I don't know why I've done that this morning, so we're not getting a good indication of the blend there, but we'll get it further up here. They are blending out, but they are very, very patchy. I'm going to zoom you in. So as I said, they're very, very patchy, and they're not really that opaque. I'm not impressed. Not impressed to say the least. They're not blending very well. They're not blending into each other very well. In fact, they're all clumping up. Now I hope, again, this isn't because this is a one-off set that just happens to be like that, and newer ones would be better. I mean, really, it shouldn't make that much difference. But they are not blending very well. You'll definitely get a reasonable picture out of them, there's no doubt about that. But they're not good. They're not very good whatsoever. I'd give them a score of about 5 out of 10 at the moment, knowing that I could do something with them, possibly on a slightly rougher paper, possibly with the use of some mineral spirits. Let's have a look at the pilling. I mean, as you can see, it's already very patchy. It's not really pilling up that much, to be honest with you, but it is very clumpy. I'm really kind of gobsmacked. Yeah, it's pilling up now. I'm really pressing hard, and I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to try it on a different piece of paper, because this is quite a smooth cartridge paper, and it's not the one I normally use, but it's the one I had to hand. So I'll get my favourite paper. Okay, so here we are with my favourite paper. This is the Clairefontaine Etival Aqua watercolour paper, and it's only fair in this case that I should try this again. I'll use the same colours where I can, just to see if it does blend better. I'm laying that on. That feels thick and sticky, but not in a good way, not in a soft way. It's clumping up quite a lot. Doing exactly the same so far. These do feel like a very cheap oil pastel. They really are losing some texture, even more so on this rougher paper. These are reminding me very much of the Campus. They're quite transparent, they're not opaque, probably semi-transparent I'd call them. What other colour did we use? I don't know. So we'll go for this green. Well, that's quite soft. Well, it was a green that I used before, wasn't it, if I remember rightly? That's not bad. Now, that's what I would have expected them to be like. I think it might have been this green, so we'll put this green on at the top. Again, that's a green, and that's quite soft, and you could imagine doing a decent picture with that. When they are good, they seem to be quite good, but when they are bad, they seem to be quite bad. However, I do think that you could get a decent picture with them if that's the way you want it to go. So we're going to blend that out. The cotton buds seem to just push into that colour. They seem to be kind of transparent, semi-transparent, and they do seem to blend better on this paper. So my bad in the fact that I didn't actually use a decent paper to begin with. It's not actually filling in there, look. Now that's unusual. So there's a definite inconsistency about these pastels. The greens in themselves seem quite decent. Purples and blue in this case don't seem very good. Same with red. They are hard work. They really are hard work. And again, the green seems to be okay. It's very odd. And let's go for the pilling. There is no pilling. That's very unusual. You would expect this to pill right up. There's hardly any. In fact, I think it might be possibly because they're slightly old. But then, if we were using an oil pastel quite a lot, we'd end up getting them where they're old. So you're going to end up getting to this stage anyway. So you need to see what they're going to be like later on in their life. And this would probably be it. These haven't been used before. And they do feel like they've got old. But that may well be, and I suspect is, what they're like to begin with anyway. So again, that's quite an unusual review. Over the course of time, we are obviously seeing how all these oil pastels are very different to each other. They reminded me very much of the Campus, but a really good, better version of the Campus. The Campus are absolutely dreadful. These are firm. They do crumble slightly. The greens looked like they blended okay. The other ones didn't blend out too far. I think on a slightly warmer day, maybe they might be better. And with a newer packet, they might be slightly better. But as I said, you're going to get to a point in time where your oil pastels are going to be old anyway. And especially if you haven't used them for a while. And especially if you haven't stored them properly. So this is a review based on the fact that in time this would happen. I think I'd only give them a 5 out of 10. I think you could produce pictures with them. I'm not going to say they're going to be the best pictures, and I must admit any camel pictures that I have seen have not really been up there with the very best of them. Find them at a reasonable price. I would definitely say buy them. I'd probably say if you're going to buy them, try and get them for under £20 for the 50 set. Not bad, but certainly not great. So I hope you enjoyed that review, and I hope that's given you some more idea of what pastels are like. And until next time, whomever, wherever you are, please have a great day, great week and a great year. And until next time, take care. Bye for now.